Uh, I think scientific research, that what I'm talking about is at a level where 2 years you're behind and you actually have lost out a lot. It's very difficult to catch up again.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Tabish Qureshi to
Thank you for inviting me here. Actually, I came thinking that there is going to be a real discussion, so I didn't I didn't prepare a presentation. So I just speak on the points which I picked up in the previous discourse which you have been hearing. So let me first make my comment, since I didn't get a time to make a comment, so I can make a comment now. See, my view is that by improving these conditions for research for women, we are going to solve the problem only partly. Teaching at my university, I have observed that the problem is that the best women are not able to come into science, because it depends on, for them it depends on whether the family is supportive, whether they allow them to do PhD. I know several of good MSc students, girl students, who wanted to do PhD, but family just doesn't want them to do PhD. Even if they allow them to do PhD, after PhD they cannot move out of the city, they have to get married, and of course then everything goes away. So basic filtering starts at that level. So people who are able to go through that filter, only for them you can improve other things. Okay. We have been discussing, several people have made comments on IITs, whether that we have made elite institutions and which are not of much use to the country. My view is that, see, every country needs good engineers, so we need to have elite institutions like IIT which produce good engineers. But here we have situation that we have engineers coming out from IIT and they are doing, after 5 years, somebody pointed out that they are doing, all they are doing is coding. So why is that happening? So maybe either we are producing more engineers than our country needs, or maybe we are wrong people are becoming engineers, people who would have liked to do something else. I mean, we have several examples, people passing out from IIT and appearing for civil services exams. Not that they are not able to get good jobs, but they somehow find civil services more lucrative. So the problem, I think, lies in our society, that at class 12 itself, when a student takes a science stream, they are just given two options. I mean, even the parents, they only know of two options. Either you become a doctor, or you become an engineer. They don't know of anything else. They all have seen engineers, they know how engineers are made. So from class 12 you start preparing for JEE, you pass through JEE and then you become an engineer. Scientists also they have seen, but they don't know. Most people you ask in Delhi how do they become scientists, they just think that scientists drop down from the sky. They don't know, average person will not know what is the procedure to go and become a scientist. So I think it is onus is on the scientists to sort of educate the public about this, that there are other streams other than engineering and medical in which students can go. I am saying this because I have had several first-hand experience with students. There is one student who passed out, who did engineering from our university, and he got a job from his campus interview, and then he uh, he joined the job, did the job for 1 year, but he was not satisfied. He realized that okay, he has got a cushy job, but this is not the thing he wanted to do. He wanted to do research, so he started applying for research positions. So he got a position in PhD position in TIFR, and he left his job and joined PhD. And his family was like mad that he gave you such good education, you got an engineering job, and you are throwing that job away. And what is the use of doing this PhD there? But he did his PhD there and then did quite well in his life. So that is one example of, I am saying that our system is such that wrong people come to IITs. People who would have liked to do something else if they had been given the right opportunity, or maybe the right options were available for them, or they knew about the right options. Okay. One point which Arvind was making was that he was questioning whether creating these elite institutions like ISS, whether it is the right way of improving research in science in the country, improving education in the country or not. See, I think starting such institution is good, and you cannot expect these institutions to have an exponential effect, like the word he used, exponential effect on the neighboring institution. All they can do is you can go and give occasional lectures in those institutions so that faculty and students get inspired. That's the only way you can help. Students can, from those institutions, can come and do a project in your elite institution. That is another way you can help. But what else can you do? You can't go and teach on those institutions on a regular basis, because if you had that capability, they wouldn't have started these institutions in the first place. Other thing is that, what is the other option? That instead of starting these elite institutions, you try to improve your existing universities. Practically, you know that if you have an institution which is bad, very difficult to improve it. What will you do? Institution is bad because of the people who are in it. You can't just throw people out and hire new faculty. So these are these practical situations which we are sort of stuck with. So I think the only option left is to start new institutions which are good, and one way in which these institutions can help the other institutions also, that will be, I think, in the next generation, that can have an exponential effect. Like students who pass out from these elite institutions, in the next generation they might end up as faculty at other institutions. So that is one way these other institutions can also improve. Okay, other thing I want to comment on is that in India there is sort of no communication between science and society. Scientists work in their own ivory towers. They don't communicate with general public at all. So I think the onus is on the scientists to sort of go and talk to general public, to explain science to people. Because after all, we are expecting funding from the government, and government is run from the taxpayers' money. So average person should have an appreciation of what scientists are doing. So I think a good way would be to say, for example, have a good outreach program. Most places do have an outreach program, but that is, I think, for namesake. Once in a while they will have a public lecture. I think we should engage more strongly with the public and let people know about exactly what research is going on, so that people get an appreciation for what the government money is going into. Also, there are what it will help is debunking this pseudoscience, because people who are promoting this pseudoscience, they go through the media and they get a lot of coverage, and scientists, they should be the ones who should come up and say that this is not science, this is pseudoscience. Most scientists actually are shy of doing that. They will do it in their private discussions. They will organize a small meeting in their own institution condemning these things. But what is the use? You should come on a public forum and speak against that. Social media is now here for us, so you can say these things on social media. One issue is this issue of this genetic modified organisms and genetic modified crop. There's a lot of hype about this thing, and there will be newspaper articles, but who can actually say what is good about genetic modified crops and what is bad about genetic modified crops? I think scientists are in the best position, and scientists should engage with the public in explaining, in sort of removing the wrong notions about this genetic modified crops, and also to tell them about the risk, if there are any, about these things. So that is the only way it is going to help. Okay, other thing which I think has not happened in India is sort of have a discussion on science and religion. In other countries we do have a discussion, we do have several discussions on science and religion, but here in India it is considered a dangerous territory. So we should have debates on science and religion also, even if there are several issues on which science is pitted against religion. I mean, you can even have meetings on whether God exists or not. I mean, there are countries where such debates have taken place. So in India also I think we should have such debates. Okay, I don't think I have anything more to say. Thank you.
Anand.
Yeah, I just want to say something about, since my main thesis was exponential versus linear impact, so I think I will speak 2-3 sentences to defend my thesis. First of all, I did not say that these institutions should not have been created. I did not say that. I said that if you pump in such a large amount of resources into a few elite institutions, then you have to very properly fine-tune what they would do, so that they have more than linear impact. Exponential is expectation, but somewhere polynomial we can achieve. And we can talk about over tea. There is a lot you can do. It is not at all difficult, actually, because what is happening is, see, in Indian society, 80% of the talent doesn't get any training, is completely lost. Which means you have an exponential resource available. Now turn it around. I mean, that's not a good thing. But if you want to make an intervention and pull out talent, there is so much raw talent lying completely unutilized. So therefore, any effort you do can easily result in the beginning, in easily make exponential impact in the beginning. So that is the point. And one can try it, it does work out also. But point is, are we willing to institutionalize those practices into these institutions which are consuming such large amount of public funds? That is my question.
Okay, Arvind, can you make a comment on how, for example, an institution like ISER can help neighboring universities?
Oh, first of all, agree to be on the board of studies when they want you.
I would like to speak some experience here, because he's making some very important points. Quite. I think firstly we are talking at some level, at an abstract level, where we are missing the concreteness of the circumstances in which we are working. I would begin with my undergraduate years, and I would say that I had found my syllabus in philosophy in BA absolute hoax, fraud, and And when I did my BA, came to MA, we changed it in Punjab University. It took us some more years, we changed it in Guru Nanak Dev University. Punjabi University Patiala did not cooperate. And what I did, Siddharth Shankar Ray was the governor, the chancellor of the state universities. We got them representations from government employees unions, state bank unions, that when they get transferred their children, there are, different kinds of syllabi operating. And he ordered the universities to constitute committees, and this happened in 86-87. Single person deciding but taking others along. It took us 2 years, that the committees were constituted. So firstly, please try to see, you cannot do it alone. You have to take people along, and it has to be in terms of a kind of a movement on the part of academics. That's one. Secondly, I would agree with Arvind. In Chandigarh, when we changed the syllabus in Punjab University, our college teachers were saying they do not know how to teach. We organized workshops, brought them, and we even went to the colleges to teach, in their presence to the students, and this is possible to be done. So my suggestion is that we have to work rather than, simply saying it is not possible. I think somewhere, if you take a decision that you will take your colleagues with you and take the students with you, I think exponential results are possible rather than simply saying it's very difficult. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I think I would just like to agree with Tabish that, and I think scientists need to respond as to why they are not very vocal about certain issues, and especially on with so much platform available now. For instance, in talking of debunking pseudoscience, I mean, there was last year there was 25 crores of public money pumped into a research project, which was trying to find a search for Sanjeevani Booty. The Uttarakhand government did this. I mean, I didn't hear any public outcry or the scientists outcry against this, and we don't hear it. I mean, I think that's true, and I think we're all we need to respond to this.
Yeah,
I mean, 25 crores.
Yeah, I think if scientists are vocal about it, then it will be there in the media, and then government will find it not so easy to pump so much money. But scientists have no voice on these matters.
Okay, Tabish, thank you. I must say, Tabish has always been the scientist who has spoken up. We all know that. Yeah, okay. I mean, I wanted to respond to two comments to end up this session, but the people I wanted to respond to have left.
Others can be
Yeah. No, I mean, the first part was that was the question from Naveen Thail from IIT, who has just left, and that is this conversation between disciplines that we've been talking about, these interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary conversations, what does it turn back to tell us about the social contract of science? And I think it depends upon also how this conversation is staged. And somebody from whom I learned a great deal about how scientific research is done was Amulya Reddy. And from him I learned that to participate in a dialogue between different disciplinary frames, I mean, it requires a certain moral commitment to an ideal of knowledge, meaning my conversational partner knows things I do not know. And until you adopt that posture, no dialogue is possible, no learning is possible, no effective transdisciplinary or interdisciplinary communication is possible. On the other hand, I also feel that I could see when Naveen's question was coming to Anirban, that there would be a tendency in these interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary conversations to push things towards, what are the policy consequences of this? What are the practical consequences of this? Can I forecast markets, stocks, exchange and all that? Now, that's a part of science I'm not particularly, because I do things which are absolutely useless, and I would like to continue to do things which are absolutely useless.